Well, next week sees the beginning of the semi-final rounds with Vlastimil Hot from Czechoslovakia, 5th in the world's rankings, playing Great Britain's Tony Miles. That's next Tuesday at 7:40. In 5 minutes, the third programme in the series Life on Earth. That follows the mid-evening news on 2.
With more hospital services reduced to emergencies only, the government has called urgent talks with union leaders in the National Health Service. Concerned at the threat to patient safety in some areas, the Health Secretary has asked to see leaders of the 2 unions involved. He told the Commons he'd urge them to make further efforts to keep the present industrial action under control. The Prime Minister has meanwhile ruled out any wage freeze, at least for the time being. And in another major development on pay, talks involving more than 1 million local authority manual workers have broken down. The unions are angry over the local authorities' refusal to make them an offer, and they say their action is bound to spread. In the hospitals dispute, Philip Hayton's been looking at the growing effects in London.
4 major London hospitals, including the Westminster, are suffering from a strike by several hundred cooks, porters and cleaners. Nurses are having to empty the bins. Unpaid volunteers help with the washing up. Even patients have lent a hand with the cleaning.
Is that all right? Am I doing it right?
The strike was called after the authorities refused to pay 6 cleaners who would not work in a private ward as part of their demand for more pay.
It does mean that the hospital is less clean than it would have been, that they're having to use disposable crockery, that perhaps the nursing care they get isn't as good because the nurses are involved with doing these basic tasks which they otherwise wouldn't have to do, like cleaning and washing up.
Tell them that if they are going to support, that they don't walk out until they get told by us.
If the hospital's strike leaders have their way, things will get worse. They've asked NUPE workers at 2 other London hospitals to join the official strike. By tomorrow, 6 London hospitals with 1,000 patients could be affected.
In the lorry drivers' dispute, more talks have been going on between local negotiators. Union leaders expect general acceptance for the settlement reached in the West Country, £64 for a 40-hour week. But in northwest England, the drivers are holding out for more. The government of Iran gave permission this evening for the Ayatollah Khomeini to leave his exile near Paris and fly back to Tehran early tomorrow morning. His chartered Air France plane has been waiting for clearance for nearly a week. But supporters of the Ayatollah in Paris and Iran say that a return tomorrow would be too sudden to allow for a proper reception. So it's likely that the flight will be further delayed, at least until Thursday. The Rhodesian Prime Minister, Mr. Ian Smith, was an early voter in the Rhodesian referendum on the means of transition to black majority rule. After touring polling stations in Salisbury, he said the white electorate had voted even more heavily than in the last general election. He predicted a big majority in favour of his new constitution. Former President Nixon made a White House comeback as a guest of honor at the Washington celebrations for Deng Xiaoping. The Chinese delegation paid tribute to his China policy at a gala which included entertainment by actors and musicians. Since the Chinese are keen admirers of basketball, however, the Vice Premier's meeting with the Harlem Globetrotters was considered the high spot. Well, that's all for the moment. I shall be back with the late news at 11:15.
Now, to bring us up to date with the ever-changing weather pattern, here's Jack Scott with the weather on 2.
Good evening to you. Well, if you watched last night's programme, this chart will come as no surprise to you. As expected, we have the depression over the southern North Sea there, filling up, still going away eastwards, no longer a threat to our weather. There's a little bit of cloud tailing just behind it as it goes away. The next system coming in is this fellow. The depression will go somewhere west of Norway there. The warm front has already got some rain and sleet into northern parts of Scotland, but the cold front will have rather more rain and snow on it as it comes away southwards, and it is coming southwards. In between these, we've had a weak ridge of high pressure that's given a good deal of fine weather over Ireland and central and western parts of England during today, and today's satellite picture showed that quite well. This is a picture taken at 11:30 this morning. If you remember the dark areas where there isn't very much cloud, you'll see that over Ireland and central and western parts of England there wasn't really very much cloud today, hence the sunshine. There's the back edge of the cloud on the depression. That's going away eastwards, but this is the large mass of cloud here, the front edge there, which is that front that's coming away southwards during the night, so that by tomorrow at noon you can expect to see the fronts there coming through the middle part of the country with showery northwesterlies coming in behind. So as far as tomorrow's weather is concerned, in the northern part of Scotland, northwestern Scotland anyway, by then you'll have a fair number of snow showers coming through, and you'll have sunshine in between these showers, quite a strong northwesterly wind and a cold northwesterly wind as well. So you can expect it to be quite cold in that particular area tomorrow. The brighter weather will get down to the southern part of Scotland by the end of the day, and all the while it'll have been fairly cloudy in the border country and northern and central parts of England. You'll by morning have some sleet into North Wales, into the northernmost parts of England. This will continue to move southeastwards as the day goes by into central parts, South Wales, eventually late in the day into East Anglia there, but the southernmost part of England looks as though it'll stay dry and fairly bright for a time, right through the day. In these areas, temperatures perhaps a degree higher than today, but nevertheless still on the cold side. That's it. Good night.
On BBC1 shortly, personal relationships come to the fore in Dallas, the continuing story of oil country folk. Here on BBC2, we investigate some of nature's relationships with David Attenborough and Life on Earth.